really cool that you came on. It was kind of a spur of the moment that I asked you, and I was just I could really see that you're doing a lot of exciting mahi, especially with the kaupapa with through Manaaki and all the technology that you're playing with, and I mean it's way out of my grasp what you're actually doing, but I just think it's really cool to see more Maori getting into the creative mahi, especially in the digital space, but also the incorporation of our culture in that mahi too. It's not just like Māoris doing that work, it's like also bringing that tikanga Māori into that space.
It's big. I mean, Māori media is like, not a new thing, whether it's, you go back to Don Selwyn or Wahoroi Shortland, or like all those people that were right around at the beginning, the first iterations of Te Karere and Marae, and like that's always been there. We're natural storytellers, I guess, and the media is always a good way to be able to share our voice in those stories. The rate of technological change, though, is kind of really accelerated, and particularly in the last 18 to 24 months, and then in the next 12 to 18 months, we're at one of those intersections in a new generation of tech is being born, and it's kind of like the first iteration of the internet was us, clicking our dial-up modems. Get off the internet! I know you're going on the internet. And then you look at a picture and you read some text.
And just looking at a picture took ages.
Yeah. And that was web, and that's the first version of the web, right?
Yeah.
And then web 2 was kind of like the inception of the social version of the internet, and that ability for me and you to actually talk to each other, and to connect and to share content, and the technology that underpinned that was cloud computing, right?
Yeah.
And so that cloud computing meant that we didn't have to have big server racks in our buildings, and actually the applications that we created and the way that we connected to each other could just all be run out of this thing called the cloud.
Yeah, the cloud.
Yeah. And you saw business applications emerge out of that, but the stuff that we're most familiar with is all the social stuff that we use, like we're scrolling TikTok and all of that, right? And then now we're on this, people call it Web3. It's just another generation, another big step in technology that kind of steps beyond the core principles that second iteration of the web was based on, which is Web 2, cloud computing, social networking, social connection, but all of those systems being centralized, So like Facebook, owned by Facebook, owns your data. The very act of you creating content creates the opportunity for them to sell advertising against the content that you create. Therefore, you are the product, and they sell you, and they make money from you, and they don't share any of that with you.
Yeah.
Even though without you, they would have no product.
It doesn't operate.
But because we have become so connected to each other through our mobile devices that, to the extent that we can't really do without it, they don't need to share it.
Yeah.
But the other scary thing about it, of course, is that all our data is on there.
Yeah.
And it's not ours really.
No.
It's the great deception of Web 2.
Yeah.
The trickery is that they actually own your data. They actually own your profile.
Yeah.
Why? Because at any moment they can turn it off.
Yeah.
Cancel. Cancel. Just like the YouTube channel that you got for this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, you think it's your podcast. This part is.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets to the place where you want to share it, reality is they run ads on the front, and they could turn you off at any point in time.
Yeah. Without any reason too. That's the craziest part. Like sometimes they don't even tell you. They just.
Yeah, totally. And so that's Web 2, centralized control. Web 3 is like a different underlying technology, fundamentally the blockchain.
Yeah.
Which is basically a really distributed way of having our information recorded on on the blockchain in a way that's not owned by any one person.
Okay.
And so it's chunks of our information stacked up on the blockchain, distributed in what they call like a peer-to-peer kind of way.
Yeah.
And that blockchain validates that everything's true and everything's pono.
Yeah.
And your information lives on there as opposed to on Facebook's servers. And that whole idea of decentralization is what opens up a whole bunch of opportunities for people, for culture, for us.
Yeah.
When we think about the centralization of power in this in these Western systems, everything's centralized.
Yeah.
We have central banks. Our financial systems are centralized. Our social systems, our government systems, they're all centralized. They're controlled by a central group. And the thought of the concept, the notion of decentralization is something I think is particularly interesting to Indigenous people.
Now you talk about centralisation. I'm really curious about this. Now I'm hearing news of something called is it CBDCs or something that the central banks are wanting to move into. Can you correct me on? Is that what it is?
Their own form of digital currency.
Form of digital currency. What? Now I'm seeing a lot of people are quite concerned about it. Who was it that I was watching? Ayman Gaza, I think his name.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the risks of them switching over to their own form of digital currency and then being able to track everything you do with your money, or even to an extent control your money, which I guess they can kind of do that now. Like they can stop your bank account.
They can completely do that now.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to transpose that system into the Web3 system,
Yeah.
so that they don't lose the control that they have.
Yeah. So it's a big race to the power, right?
Yeah, because as with anything, incumbent systems that have the power will always try to defend their position, right?
Of course.
So they don't want to lose control of all the money.
No.
They don't want to lose control of all of the data.
Yeah.
But then in saying that, Web3 does face challenges because, like with the emergence of any technology, we saw the emergence of internet scams with Web2, email internet scams.
Phishing, as they call it.
Phishing, and then, more sophisticated finessing of people, and planting bots onto your computer while you're on a call with them so that they can control your desktop, see what you're doing, tell you to do it. Like all of those things are, with any new era in technology, there's always going to be the bottom feeders that will try and feed off the most vulnerable, right?
Absolutely.
And so
my grandfather's actually a victim of that.
True.
Yeah, he got scammed a lot of money.
True.
Through a crypto
Rat
scam.
shit.
Yeah, so it was rat shit. We did give him a considerable warning, but they just played on his heartstrings, and they knew how to finesse him.
Yeah,
and
it's the finesse, man.
It's
a finesse, but there's also something in our human nature that makes us hope that this is real.
Yeah.
That this opportunity is real, and we know deep inside that there's no such thing as a get rich quick. There's nothing.
No.
It's not legit. But there's something about our human nature that hopes and wants it to be true.
Yeah.
That deep down inside allows us to be manipulated in that way, and some part of that may be, connected to a genuine desire to want more for yourself or for your family.
Yeah, absolutely. I know his intentions were good through what he was doing.
Yeah.
But we all knew that it was a scam.
Yeah.
And it became
and that's the thing.
something
They'll prey on
and
whatever people's vulnerabilities are, and
Yeah.
so you see some of that in Web3, but that's not unique to the current era of the web. It's not unique to crypto scams.
Yeah.
There's insurance scams. I could show you a text right now for these people that have been consistently texting me from Australia to say that my road toll that I did not pay for $1.92 is attracting interest every day. And I rang them because it's an Australian mobile number.
Yeah.
Now I look at it like, oh yeah, this is not NZT, New Zealand Transport. That's like some weirdos, I just ring them, it just rings off the hook. I just
Yeah.
block them. So like scams are not, current era scams, whether they're crypto or Web3 or whatever they are, blockchain, whatever people are trying to scam people with, it's not unique to Web3. It's every iteration of technology that we've seen has people that do scammy stuff with it, and whether that's
mailing
trying to scam
scams,
people,
through the post and all that back in the day.
or even if it's just like fake news,
Oh,
you know?
jeez,
Yeah, like all of that. That's all the use of the medium to manipulate the truth. The problem is, you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
And like we get so lazy. Scrolling makes us lazy.
Lazy as.
Yeah, it's just dopamine on top of it, just making you scroll and zombie out.
Yeah.
Then you look at that shit and you think, wow, yes, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Wow, yes, that's amazing.
Not even going to bother.
They're both shit.
Yeah.
They're both fake.
Yeah.
but you don't even know, and we've become so conditioned not to think about what we're seeing inside of these channels, and that's the big fear and the big threat that the real psychological aspects of the design of these applications leverage to be able to build that engagement and that tactile usability that you just got to keep on coming back to and back to and back to.
I was just saying, with media, with news media and mainstream media nowadays, I reckon that everyone knows that there's a lot of bullshit, but I feel like there's a level of comfort of people believing in it, if that makes sense. So like, I think everyone knows to an extent that the news and media can, really exaggerate the situation.
Here's the thing about the way that information gets disseminated on apps.
Yeah.
Is that it's all algorithmic, right?
Yeah.
And so it's showing you what you want to see.
Yeah.
It's not showing you people's alternative or challenging positions to what your assumption is, right? It's showing you more of what you believe. Yeah. So if I'm a hardcore right-wing fundamentalist that believe that Maori are arming themselves to create a civil war,
a Julian Bachelor
here in New Zealand. If I believe that, right?
Yeah.
And I engage with content like that, and I'm connected to other people that are like that and share that belief, then I'm going to get more of that stuff.
Mm.
And it's just going to feed me what I want.
Yeah.
Because it comes back to that thing that I just talked about. I am the product.
Yeah.
I feed you more of you want, so you stay engaged, and I can serve more ads, and I can make more money.
Yeah.
That's the platforms like that. Facebook exists as a commercial entity to make more money, and so when you have these silos and these closed loops of information around people's beliefs, people's connections, all that happens is that whether it's right or whether it's wrong, the algorithm is feeding you to reinforce what you believe and what you want.
Yeah.
So if I go away and I click 6 or 7 of your posts, I could do it right now.
Yeah.
Yo, cool, bro. Algorithms immediately. Oh, Frederick. I'm going to feed Pat more of Frederick's content. Now here's Frederick's friends that have also like similar content. I'm going to recommend in this feed that he should follow those people.
Yeah.
And it's keeping me in that closed loop of comfort.
Yeah.
It's just keeping me in that complacency.
Yeah.
And complicit to that very small point of view, that small interaction that we have. It's just going to feed us more of that. And that's dangerous, bro.
Yeah.
That's dangerous because you come to believe that your worldview is right because everybody you see on social media believes it too.
Believes you, yeah.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
It's kind of crazy, like, I don't know if you watched the Cambridge Analytica documentary about how they worked with Trump on his campaign.
Yeah.
And leverage Facebook's algorithm to really identify, isolate, engage, propagate amongst a particular group, create a groundswell, create massive scale, and it just stayed in the silo. The silo of these people that believe that, and that, you know, when he won that election, there were a whole bunch of people that didn't share that belief that were absolutely stunned. Because how did that happen? What they didn't know is that, you know, the millions and millions of people that voted for him were all receiving the same information, and the people that didn't, well, they were just receiving stuff from their guy. And that's the, like, we will
Trump
never,
done all this
how
bad
do we grow and develop further understanding of people's ideals and views and opinions and points of view if we are being purposely siloed by the algorithms that are controlling the content that we look at every day?
Hard out.
How do we?
If you're asking me the question, I really don't know, because I don't know. It's hard for me to say, like, oh, I think outside of the box myself personally. But am I? Do I? You know, like sometimes I have to go away.
I can tell you straight away, bro.
Second guess myself.
That you'll follow the people that you're following, and the content that you follow, and the content that you engage with, directly reflects your family, your friends, your personal interests, and the interests that are kind of on the edge of that. And that's it, bro. That's it. And if you go outside of that, then you can add something to it. But the core of it will be those things. And the core of it is what the algorithms will keep on serving you. Now, if you go outside of that because of curiosity, then, you know, probably that curiosity is going to originate from not inside of there, but from outside of those platforms, in a conversation, in something that you saw, and someone that you interacted with. Oh, shit, that's interesting. I'll go have a look. And then all of a sudden, that can get added to your, you know, to your algorithmic profile. That they start feeding you stuff. But that's not the, that's just the game. The issue is that you are being numbed into, I am being numbed into, we are being numbed into not having diversity of view, not being willing to engage in discourse and conversation about things that may challenge us in our points of view. Because it's not doing that. Unless you see it on the news. You go, look at all those crackers down in Rivertown, want to shoot us!
Want to shoot us,
Oh, shit!
And even they're going, oh, jeez, calm down, bachelor.
Then you go, what's going on there? And all of a sudden you go, look, Invercargill, blah, blah, blah. Holy shit.
It's kind of ironic, actually, because when I had Fawn Winiato last week, and you know, the first thing I kind of shot at, well, I shouldn't say shot at him, but no pun intended, but the first thing I showed him was a video clip that my mate, Keelan, because he lives in Blenheim, he's a Blenheim-based filmmaker, and Julian Batchelor just happened to be there, so Keelan, being Maori, walked up there, and they were trying to deny him entry into the hall, and he said, well, you know, I only showed, like, it was a 15-minute clip, it made the news and everything, and I only showed like 3 minutes, you know, and it was quite, you know, Vaughan had a great view on, you know, opinion on how his supporters may not necessarily be racist, but they're just, you know, just dumb enough to believe in his bullshit and follow through with it because they just don't have the intelligence to branch out and look further. And now, you know, a few days later, he's down in Invercargill saying, hey, let's arm ourselves and shoot the Maoris, you know. I guess what I'm saying with there is actually, you know what, I'm not going to lie, I don't know, but I just thought I'd share that. It's just funny how, I just thought it was funny how it's like, you know, we mentioned Julian Batchelor and just his public talks, and now he's like starting to escalate that bullshit korero, you know, and doesn't help with the digital space that, you know, he's able to get that message out in the first place, and that information is able to travel.
If you're him, though, it does help.
Yeah.
If you're people that don't believe that what he's talking about, then it doesn't help. Right? And everybody's acting from this place inside of their logic bubble where all their behaviour, the words they say, everything is perfectly logical. And it aligns with their beliefs and their perception of the world. And that's what he's doing. And we see it this way, and he sees it that way. And for us, it's like, it's the most foreign thing, bro. It's like, what the is going on here?
Hard out.
For them, they're like, what the fuck? It's like the same, right? but you know, and this is, I'm not going to credit it to algorithms and social media, but you know, people become isolated inside of communities where their beliefs or their borderline beliefs can be propagated with people that believe the same thing, right? They prop each other up.
Yeah.
The way that social media works doesn't help that,
No.
you know, and it doesn't help to bring that discourse and those points of view. Like, it's just like, you know, we look at it and some of us want to fight, some of us want to go have a korero and see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I know heaps of people be like, hey, you know, go down there, and we'll be actually pretty sweet about having a conversation with those people. You're not trying to do that.
I reckon we just get the mangus and the fiddles, send them over there, give them a good F from hiding. Hey, honey Halloween. No, of course not.
Some people are vibing like that, bro. Some
Yeah.
people are vibing like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I watch it and it freaking sparks me up, bro.
Yeah.
I want to go do something.
Yeah.
But, like, I would also like them to have a real understanding of who we are,
Yeah.
you know? And why is it that they're so shut off?
Yeah.
You know, we Maori are amazing people,
Yeah.
and we are the fabric that knits this nation in a way together in a way that makes it, you know, non-homogeneous. We give it richness and depth and emotion, and of course, all underpinned by our culture and its expression. I'd love them to understand that. You know, I'd love them to see the same sort of beauty that we see in our people and our culture. But you have people that are fear-mongering and going, bro, they're coming for your land.
Yeah, they're coming for your land. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you guys definitely know about that, don't you?
So, I mean, but just to bring it back to a te korero, like
Yeah.
that's the context. So they kind of, from a technology perspective, look at all of that
Yeah.
and why the centralization of everything is so scary.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, just to say, big tech. I mean, nowadays, big tech, I almost feel like big tech has become pretty much the most powerful entity in the world, you know? I mean, if you're able to cancel a president, where does it stop? Like, where does the control of big tech stop? If big tech
it's
is
only
tied
been
to...
around for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
it's
come
so
from
ingrained
nowhere
into
to
our
now.
identity now too, that, you know, that cancellation for some people, I mean, I've seen YouTubers get their channels cancelled and they're crying and, oh, you know, Logan Paul's a fine example of it, you know, that idiot, you know, and he's crying because, you know, he went to Suicide Forest and made a joke at a tupapaku, you know, and it's like, well, yeah, of course you're going to get cancelled, but that's how tied or how connected we are to our social.
Yeah, I just don't know, bro. Like, it's like the other thing that stuff does, it just makes us so super judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, like, where is the space for Logan Paul to fuck up and find forgiveness and actually, you know, years later people go, yeah, fuck, he fucked up, and he even said he fucked up, and
Yeah.
he apologized, and like,
And
but
then
still-
made CryptoZoo and then
fucked up.
fuck that. I'm surprised he's not facing any. Is he facing any court
I
cases?
don't know. But I mean, the court of social media is real, right? They had the court of public opinion, and so you put that on social media, and it just becomes 100x, for better or for worse. And people aren't aware that algorithmically they're being fed shit all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't have the discernment all of the time to understand what's coming in front of us. And so that's why that necessity to unplug from this shit. You know, here I am talking to you about all this stuff, and my phone's in my hand. And this is really the device that ushered in the power of big tech and the corporations. It was the power to put their applications on a device that became central to the way we communicate.
Yeah.
And like, people go, get off your phone, because you go home, everyone's on their phone. Go to bed, you're next to your wife, you're on your phone.
On your phone.
Right?
Should we make it love, man?
Love, we can make it
OnlyFans, here we go. And it's like, yeah, hard out.
I'm conflicted by that all the time, because I know that there's part of me that has a deeper understanding of the technology and its impact that it's having on our society and our social relationships and our connections, right? But at the same time, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like the things that we can do now
Hard hell.
because of that technology. And in the same way that it's feeding us shit, if you know how to use it, you can use it to open up your eyes to a whole new world.
Hard hell.
The stuff that my 9-year-old knows, and compared to what I knew when I was 9, bro, he would talk to me about the most intense subjects ever, right? He wanted to talk about the submarine that went down to and exploded. With,
A beautiful distraction from some serious news out there in the world, but yeah.
And he was like, so if that submarine blew up, what caused it? So I don't know, you'd have to, like, what causes a submarine to blow up underwater? He goes off and he comes back and he explains to me, the oxygen in the chamber could have, like, da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, dude, you're 9.
Yeah.
But that type of information is at your fingertips. And again, it's cool and it's scary.
Yeah.
But the stuff that he knows, man, the diversity of subject matter that he has, just it's crystallizing at the moment, but like he has this kind of surface level of understanding about, it's like, wow, what are our kids going to be? Like, we had to buy encyclopedias, bro, when I was a kid.
Yeah, hard out.
Like, that was thousands of dollars
to go to Kura, and I mean, we had what was the old the old Windows Britannica, this one. Like, we had that, and that would take ages to learn. Just.
But now it's just all there, and it's exciting, and it's scary.
Is it? I find that on an educational level of actually learning, especially with Kura now, it's almost like anything that a kid would want to learn is at their fingertips here. But I feel like Kura is mainly there now just for person-to-person social interaction. I mean, that's where I feel like I see the importance of Kura, especially if a kid wants to learn anything they want to learn, they just type it in. Chat GPT, Google Bard, whatever. So how long do you think schools are going to become... I guess the question would be, do you see schools becoming essentially obsolete?
Yeah. In their current function.
Yeah.
Because my phone is infinitely more powerful than the knowledge that any teacher or any entire school full of teachers have on a particular subject.
Yeah.
And if I want to learn about English literature, I can go and take a course at an Ivy League college online and talk to the foremost literary scholars in the world about it.
Yeah,
and
a Zoom meeting.
Yeah. I don't need to, be dependent on my public school teacher, my private school teacher to enable me to be able to learn a subject.
And learn more.
I can learn more
depth.
Yeah. So,
sorry, teachers.
No, and that's not at all to diminish the role of teachers in our the lives and shaping the lives of our children. Because I said school in its current form, right? My kids are all multimedia education, so have been through Kurakapapa, boys in Manaaki now, at Waiorea, and he's there because I want him to have that reo, understand tikanga, understand his identity as a Maori in the world.
Yeah.
That's what I want him to get. I don't care about English.
Yeah.
I don't care about science or art or maths. All of that stuff he can learn online from better teachers than the teachers that have in any public school or private school.
Yeah.
What I want him to learn is the stuff that's centric to his culture in a way that is in the tradition, ākanohi, that we have learned. So that's the value of kura for me. It's not the traditional education system.
Yeah.
I've been watching my kids since they were little, and purposefully, with intent, watching them to try and identify what their propensities are, what their gifts are, what their natural talents are, where their passions lie. Yeah. And very purposely designing what the next stage of their life looks like. So So you don't have to be at school past 16 really, because like you know where you want to go. You want to act as a career.
He's doing a bloody good job at that, by the way.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Better than me, man.
It's not a competition, bro.
No.
But he wants to act.
Yeah.
And so if that's your purpose and that's your gift and that's your love and you're backing that up with hard work and energy and attitude and dedication and commitment, and you're willing to do that, and that brings you joy and happiness and helps you, enables you to make a living, then I can do my part because I'm in a fortunate position to be able to support you in that journey. Then screw school, bro.
Yeah.
You can leave.
Yeah.
You can leave. And we'll design what comes next.
Yeah.
And my 9-year-old similarly, there's just a musical savant, bro. He just plays anything.
Yeah.
Picks it up, plays it, show him where the middle key is on the piano, and when he was freaking 4, just started jamming out.
Mate, does he get that from you?
No. He gets it from his mother, hard out.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard out. But so he's musically gifted. Now every kid wants to be a streamer and play video games for a living. So we just put that aside for a minute.
Yeah.
And then just go, where's your area of gifting?
It's
What's your
easy,
talent?
and yeah, it can make you money, but it doesn't teach you shit, you know?
Might do, don't know. But I have information neither way to confirm or deny.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of dude. But what I do know is that you're musically gifted.
Yeah.
So let's foster that talent in you because that's unique. And then like you don't really need school either. So bro, it's just like let's just design your day. Get up, have breakfast. Don't rush around and go to school. You know, piano teacher will be here at 9. Do your piano for 90 minutes. Go play, go do whatever. Draw pictures, chill out. And then the drum teacher will be here around about lunchtime. Do your work there. Guitar teacher will be here in the afternoon. Do the work there. If that's going to be you, why are we fucking around trying to teach them geography and science and like, why? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
This is the, like...
What is your passion? Hey,
yeah, no, I don't
what's
know.
your
If,
passion?
like, maybe people won't vibe with that, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, I want my child to find their own way.
Yeah.
That's you, fair enough.
Yeah.
All good. But my kids don't know shit. Because they're 9 and they're 14, and he ain't gonna know shit. And I got a 23-year-old, and they don't really know shit.
Yeah. Huh.
You know what I mean? And like, I look at myself and like, fuck, I didn't know shit till I was 30. I wandered around aimless.
I'm probably gonna look back 10 years time and go, man, it's 35. I didn't know shit. You know?
Yeah.
Just get in there.
Yeah.
You know?
And then so why? Why just be like that?
Yeah.
Because I feel some kind of way about being some kind of parent that has this view of letting my child find herself. I wish my parents had been more purposeful with my direction in my life, provided me with options that I had gifting in, and provided me with the resources to support me into those spaces and those places and the things that I loved to grow and to test and to learn. And if I don't like it, I'll change. And then we can do that, and I can support you in that as well. But like just this aimlessly trying to figure out what the fuck my kid's good at, like letting themselves figure out what they're good at. Yeah, I don't. Not for me anyway.
Yeah.
Love to hear some other points of view though.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, did your parents go through the whole education thing? Did they go, you know, intermediate, high school, university? Did they both go through that whole? Because they one of the few. Yeah.
No, my dad was a smart guy. Yeah, he
Yeah.
went to Wellington College.
Yeah.
And he wanted to study law, but his parents didn't give him the guidance, and you know, him and his brother were a couple of the only Maori boys when they were young men at Wellington College, and they were caster training from korero. So kind of like a Cannons Creek version of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
So I mean, you essentially broke the mold of. I mean, did you go through uni, high school?
I went to uni. I didn't finish uni.
Yeah.
I found it incredibly boring. I went to uni and I was like, oh wow, no, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah.
But like when my student allowance comes through, I use that money to import some fake Nikes from Mexico from my mate that lived in San Diego, and I go sell them at the Otara markets and make a couple of grand on the couple of grand, and I'll stay for that.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's just who I was, bro.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I did. And university was boring apart from the socializing.
Yeah.
So I just bailed on it real quick.
Yeah.
I tried to go back because I tried to convince myself that education at a tertiary level was important.
Yeah.
But once I actually accepted who I was as a creative being,
Yeah.
and that I didn't need any kind of bit of paper to validate who I am creatively
Yeah.
or what I want to do, I was like, you know what, fuck that.
Yeah.
And didn't look back from there.
Especially as a creative, like, I mean, I guess uni just allows you to have the opportunity to get paid and do art full time. But see, I don't even know that. I mean, I had friends that done fine arts at uni, especially at Massey, and most of them came out and done anything other than anything arty, you know. A few got into film, maybe one got into graphic design, I think, but, you know, there were a few others that had the intentions of, you know, I don't know, taking this degree and becoming artists with it. I never got it too, because I was thinking, it's like, oh, should I go to uni and do, like, you know, fine arts or something in the creative and realm, and yeah, just there was never an appeal for me.
But that is just so, it's just how the system works. It's like us being fully enrolled and fully engaged in the system and what it says that you have to do to achieve and to have a good career and to be able to follow whatever it is that you decide that you want to do in life. You need to go to university, you need to, and some people you do. Like I don't want anybody operating on me that hasn't been to
like
university.
nurses, engineers,
Right,
there's some skills that
totally, absolutely, it's a requirement.
Yeah.
But particularly for the creative sector, not at all.
Yeah.
Best designers and artists and DOPs and directors that I know
Yeah.
just got onto tools early, committed their life to it, and made it their craft, and there they are.
Yeah. That's what I'm definitely learning now. I mean, I studied at UB, which was pretty cool. That wasn't too bad. It was I think it was like a 10-month course. It was a 10-month course, but it was more practical than sitting there writing 5,000 words about a scene from Citizen Kane. You know, like it's like, hey, Citizen Kane is an all-time great film, but you know, I'm not going to sit there and just write thousands and thousands of words about this film. Like I could tell you about Citizen Kane within a few sentences. What am I doing this for?
Watch Citizen Kane, is it good?
That's a good film. It definitely started the whole mystery reveal kind of storytelling in films.
Would I watch it now and go, it's good? Or would I watch it now and I'd have to go, you know, for the time that this came,
I think
it was like, I'm going to have to watch it through that lens because I can't deal with this production and...
well produced. It was well produced for its time, and see, that's the thing. It's hard to say if it was like I mean, I didn't fully enjoy it. Like there was some bits I was like, oh yeah, but I could see the art and the craft and the beauty and the writing and the dialogue and and for its. I think what you were saying there. I feel like it could be a more for its time kind of thing.
What is your favourite film ever?
Oh. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. No, There's two films that come to mind when I think of like the first films I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
So it's either A New Hope, Star Wars, or Terminator 2. Bro, you know? Like I think it was more I think more Terminator 2 because it was the first film I seen where I actually watched the behind the scenes of it, how it was made, which is what really attracted me to filmmaking even more.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that films like real humans made films. Like I thought that, I don't know, they're just portals into different worlds, which essentially that's what they were made to be.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise the practicality behind it, and you know, and just watching how they made it with the liquid metal and the magnets and you know, Arnold's prosthetics and all that, and I was just absolutely captivated by all of that, and I just knew, I was like, Mum, I want to do that when I'm older, And she's like, oh, you know, it was always, I'll tell you this about my upbringing, you know, and this is no diss on anyone in my whanau or anything, but every time I tell people like what I wanted to do, like the two things I wanted to do was be a film director and be a WWE superstar. Those are my two things, and every time I tell people, I'd always get the...
You're on your way to being both, aren't you?
I'm too old now for the WWE thing, but I'd love to work behind the scenes as well on the production side, maybe do a bit of writing for them. But yeah, it's like...
People on here know about your wrestling persona?
No! I'll have to make a few calls and go, hey, delete everything. delete it all. No, well, I deleted my Instagram with all my bloody pro wrestling stuff.
What was your character's name?
So it was FTG, actually.
Oh, FTG.
So Frederick the Great was my persona. So
Goody or baddie? Baddie.
It was, yeah, originally it was a baddie. And I got the nickname from a school teacher. So she gave me that nickname. And she was like,
That's cool, eh?
Yeah, she goes, Frederick the Great. And everyone was like laughing at me in class and was like, what does that mean? And she's like, I'm sorry, I was more like, who the hell is that? And she's like, oh, Frederick the Great. And she told me he was this emperor from Germany back when Prussia and Bavaria were, like when they were having the German civil wars. And yeah, it's quite a big, I've actually got a novel about Frederick the Great at home, which I haven't read because that's just who I am. But yeah, so that just kind of stuck, and then other kids at school started calling me Frederick the Great, and I always knew I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and then I just kind of like, when I got a bit older into my teen years, I was like, Frederick the Great, pro wrestling, FTG, pro wrestling, and then it just, I was like, yeah, okay, no, that's me.
I think it's such a vibe that you wanted to be a pro wrestler and you went after it.
Oh, totally, because I'll tell you, I wasn't the only Maori kid. Well, I'm not the only kid in general, you know. Most boys wanted to be pro wrestlers at some point.
I still remember, because you said WWE, man, I'm WWF, baby.
Yeah, I was still WWF too, definitely.
Yeah. I remember when it first came on here in New Zealand. It was on like Friday night at like 11 p.m. or something, like real late.
Yeah.
It was like real late. And the first lineup that was available on TV was... That was
like the Superstars of Wrestling days.
Superstars of Wrestling, yeah.
Hogan.
Ravishing Ripperoo, Jake Snake, Roberts, like all those guys.
Yeah.
And there were a few like some of the older dudes that were kind of like the real genesis of pro wrestling, but still kind of hanging around, but they were getting older.
Yeah, like the Bob Backlund.
That
era. Yeah,
they were you get beat up guys.
They became. I mean, Bob Backlund was a legend in his prime, and then when I started watching WWF, he was pretty much on his way out, but he was just getting squashed in like a minute, you know. It's just like, wow, you know. But
I think when I first started watching, Hulk Hogan had been out for a while injured. Like he'd been away for maybe 9 months or nearly a year.
Was that a legit injury, or was that when...
He was off the singing, and it was way prior to him making the crossover and coming back.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking... man.
Was that when Earthquake
way before that.
Crushed his ribcage?
Way before that.
Okay.
Way before that.
The old kayfabe injury.
Earthquake came a lot later from when I started watching.
Yeah, he wasn't, because he did spend a bit of time...
the Giant was still there.
He did spend a bit of time over in Japan too, but I don't know if that's when he made the crossover from... Is it AWA or NWA? NWA, and then I think he went to Japan for a while, and then came back.
Anyway, started watching.
There we go.
I think it's a vibe that you had a dream to be a wrestler and that you went after it.
Yeah. I mean, nothing really much came of it. I was always coming and going, and
hard to get into it from here though. Unless you're in the like back then, it's like you had to be in that. You had to have wrestling whakapapa.
Yeah. Well, if you were like related to Steve Rickard or the Rip Morgan. Or the Bushwhackers, you know, if you whakapapa from them, you kind of had a bit of a leeway in.
Angle in,
but other than that, it was pretty hard. But Auckland was for a long time pretty much the only, after On the Mat, because that was mostly
Yes,
filmed
I
out
remember
at
that. Yeah.
Avalon Studios.
Yeah.
But after those days, you know, it was like, well, there's no pro wrestling. Like it became this big fad in New Zealand. I wasn't
Were you
around
ever
then.
tempted to go on the roids to like get really big and?
I
Did you ever dabble with the roids?
I didn't even have the discipline to go to the gym, bro. I was like, what do you call
So
it?
you're just like a fat Maori fella
Yeah, I was
jumping
just
around.
a fat Maori fella jumping around. Bro, I was like, oh look, there's Uncle Fred that sleeps on the
So
couch.
did you try the roids or not?
Nah, never. And I mean, bro, to be honest, I was like in and out of the gym, but I never really got hard out into the gym. Which
Did you want to be big though? Like, did you want to be like a massive wrestler? Like,
I definitely wanted to be in better shape. I was always big. Like I was always big and probably.
but you're not
for
like
wrong
real
reasons.
tall or anything like
No,
that.
that's it. Like, and that was another thing, you know.
Did you ever think you might have had to take roids to get the size, to get the strength to be able to actually do it?
I would say yes, just given my height. Maybe a bit more, they might have been a bit more lenient and I probably could have gone in a bit leaner if I was taller. But because of my height, they would probably want me to, like, they may have wanted
Even
me
if
to
you
bulk
got
out.
in as a guy that was like getting beaten up by the stars, would have been so good.
Oh yeah, it would have been great.
That would have been awesome.
I mean, you know, I think there'd be a bit of a lot of my pride.
Could be weird.
Well, the fact that he got to be a bloody Hall of Famer was like, wow. Everyone was like, Coco be weird. But when you think about it, when you really unpackage his career, even though he got his ass kicked all the time, you think about how many wrestlers looked amazing wrestling him, and how
He was
many,
very athletic for a little guy.
and how many careers he built
Totally.
because he allowed himself to get beaten up.
Be a stepping stone
Same
on
as
the
Jake.
path to greatness.
Jake the Snake was the same.
Yeah.
He was one of
He
the.
didn't really. He won an intercontinental title though, didn't he?
He never won anything.
He didn't even win an intercontinental.
Nah.
No way. Are you
No.
sure?
Google him. Yeah, I don't think he. I think he won like maybe.
Hey Siri, did Jake the Snake Roberts ever win an intercontinental wrestling title? Jake the Snake Roberts is the greatest wrestler to never hold a title.
and that's what's crazy is about, you know, he had a pretty turbulent career, man. He had drug issues, all that. But his promos were amazing. His matches were amazing. He had everything going for him. But because he had a lot of demons,
yeah.
it really hindered his career. Roddy Piper was the same. He only ever won the title, intercontinental title once.
Yeah.
And he only held it for a few months and then lost it to Bret Hart, and that's all she wrote for him.
Bret Hart was like the first dude that I saw with a mullet.
Oh, did he used to have a mullet?
Yeah, bro, he had like the shave on the side and long on the back.
Oh, jeez, yeah, no, he definitely long before. I know that Shawn Michaels had the mullet with him and Marty Jannetty.
Shawn Michaels came a little bit later though.
Yeah, he did.
Marty Jannetty, yeah.
And
What kind of podcast is this anyway?
yeah, bro, we're going everywhere, bro, and I think that's the beauty of it. But yeah, no, there was so, oh man, just the yesteryear had amazing talent.
Did you seriously think you were gonna make it at any point, or was it just like you?
I think I was drunk. I was drunk and stoned enough to believe that I would.
Really?
But I think when I would
So you went on the road, but you were drunk and stoned.
so I wasn't on the So I put my time.
You were clean.
I was clean. I could pass a piss test if it was for roids. I'd pass. Brilliant. Yeah, but yeah, for anything else, no, I would have failed instantly, bro. So. You know, actually, a few of the wrestlers watched this, and I'm going to have one of the wrestlers on in a few weeks, so just waiting to hear back from him about it. But, yeah, you know, I really enjoyed my time, but I felt like I came in with a bit of an ego. I came in thinking that I was this, but I was getting booked. Yeah, you know, and it's like, look, you've got this guy that's pre-packaged.
Got his ass kicked.
Yeah, pre-packaged, everything. Like, you know, he could talk shit on the mic, not bad in the ring. You know, good gimmick. And then it was like, yeah, we'll just make you a jobber. And it's just like, wow, up yours, you know. And I guess.
So you became an actor.
Yeah, so I became an actor instead. Get my ass kicked on camera instead. No, but yeah, it was.
You're a performer, right?
Yeah, I'm a performer in general, you know, and yeah, I knew that I had a passion for film. I knew I had a passion for pro wrestling, and it was like whether one worked or one failed, whatever. As long as I was doing either one of those things, I would be happy.
Yeah, cool.
I would be happy, and I'm still doing it, you know. But I'm thinking of.
Good on you, bro. Such a vibe.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So you know, I don't know where to after I do this next film. I've considered stepping down from acting, and just.
I saw a little bit of a wince there when you said that. Bit of pain associated with that.
Well, it's a little bit of pain, bro, but I think also I want to focus more on like things like doing this, getting this up and running, directing more, writing more, and I just feel like those are the kind of the things that I feel like I really want to hone my craft in. It's hard to say, you know, this is the end, but I don't know. A part of me feels like in the act, like for wrestling, bro, I'm done. Like I can definitely tell you, hand on heart, like I'm done. Not gonna go back and have a out of the blue match or anything. And I'm happy where I'm at there. But yeah, with the acting thing, I don't know. I just there's a level of vulnerability that you have to portray or allow yourself to step into in order to portray characters convincingly. And where I'm at the moment in myself, I don't feel like I can get to that level and allow myself to be that open in front of a camera without it being me, you know, and having to portray someone else. And that's why I say, so maybe it's just the state of mind that I'm in, but I think it's also maybe I've got my guard up a little bit. You know, it's been a pretty rough. When I say rough, there's been some blessings as well. You know, I've got to meet you and the Manaaki crew and several other things that have come along with it. But it's been a rough year to relocate and having to rebuild myself. And I feel like I've rebuilt myself in a way where I do have my guard up with certain things, and I think it affects the way that I approach things like acting. Well, just mainly acting, you know, and I'm just wondering if I can even get myself to an emotional depth to, play different characters nowadays.
You know what I like, bro? I fully hear you on rebuild. The way that I kind of look at it is that life and the journey is an iterative process. And you know, we should, I do, I don't say anybody else should, but you know, every step and every moment is something to be aware of and present to.
Yeah.
And every step and every moment is, you know, another state and another step on the journey. And I think if you have this iterative path where you have a broad idea of the direction you're heading in, you have your goals, you have your ambitions, or that type of thing, but you also have the kind of like that sensory acuity, like that ability to take the information that you're receiving and then be able to use it and process it to make the next best step.
Yeah.
You don't have to rebuild.
Okay.
Because when you got to rebuild, even the very phrase itself is like, you have to rebuild. Well, why am I rebuilding? Well, it sounds like something's broken. Like, you know, something got busted down, so I'm rebuilding.
Maybe quake strengthening.
Well, like you're putting something back up.
Yeah.
I'm rebuilding. So you're like, there was a state this thing was in. It is no longer in this state. I have to rebuild it. And then, so to me, that sounds like you went from here to here to here. Now I'm rebuilding. Yeah. And I just think of it like, I went to here, some stuff happened, I went to here, I went to here, I went to here, I went to here, and it's iterative. And I don't have to rebuild. Yeah. I build on top of.
On top of.
Yeah. And take the lesson that I've learned, take the data that I've received, and make it a next best step from here.
Right. Damn. you're not wrong. How could I be wrong? How could you be wrong about that? That's a beautiful way of putting it.
I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. It just is for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think as we go through trials and tribulations in our life, we can sometimes go, fuck, got it all wrong.
Yeah.
You look back at it, and if you really analyze it, I just got a couple of things wrong.
Yeah.
I just made a couple of wrong steps.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Better learn from that one.
Yeah.
Dodge that bullet.
I don't need to fucking completely retrench, go back to the drawing board and start again.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just iterate on top of what's just happened.
That's a far better way of putting it, bro. I think I'll definitely...
It's just the psychology, bro,
Yeah.
of the thought that, like, I have to rebuild is very daunting.
it is, bro.
It is. It's just super daunting, bro. Like,
sounds daunting, feels daunting.
It's like, if you think about it, like, and you said earthquake strengthening, well, shit, I was in Christchurch with the earthquake, and that's a rebuild, right?
Yeah.
It falls down, it's completely decimated, and you have to rebuild. So when you say you're rebuilding your life, those are the types of frames and frameworks and that you're giving yourself context for what you're doing with your life.
Yeah.
You don't have to get devastated, bro.
Nah.
You're in a better spot than you are now than like before.
Yeah.
We're here. You're doing this in this cool place. It's better, bro.
Yeah.
Better.
Better. Bro, that was, wow, that is tino a tahua, tino kupu. I just had to take that in. I guess when I say earthquake strengthening as well, was because I done earthquake strengthening work in Wellington, so
I see.
So it's more about you've still got the building there, but what you're doing is you're just smashing out a bit of the building, adding some more steel, some more concrete.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, so I guess that's that was the analogy that I was using. It's more like, yeah, life's going to have those moments, and I mean, you know, you guys had that little moment for yourselves, you know, last year.
Yeah, you have to like you have to take the moment. You have to be present to what's happening. You have to understand what's happening, and you have to. It sounds cliche that you have to learn from it. And in the midst of being in a very trying situation for yourself, that self-reflection is often not something that comes easy.
Yeah.
You know, but you must. But in doing that, don't crucify yourself. Yeah. You didn't kill anybody.
No.
You're not a bad person.
No.
You know, that's just like the power of social media may have skewed the facts of the story or whatever.
Yeah.
People say shit about you.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it the truth, bro.
Yeah.
The truth is what you know inside of you is the truth.
Yeah.
And no one can argue with what you know to be true, right?
No.
Unless you have a fucked up perspective.
Yeah. Well, there's a fine line with the whole personal truth stuff, right?
Yeah, totally. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And then, so you know, you learn from those challenges. You iterate forward. And in doing that, you take what you've learned and you apply it immediately in the second. Not like in this reflective rewind, start back and like redraw it all up again. And some people will want to hold you to the version of yourself that you were a year ago.
Oh
2
my
years
goodness,
ago.
bro.
3 years ago.
Totally.
Oh, that Frederick, he's always been a...
He's always been
he's still the same.
I remember you when you were like this, you know. And
some people don't have the capacity to allow you to move on because it puts their life into some strange context that they don't want to admit for themselves.
Well, if it's like, especially if the last time that they may have associated or seen you and it was in a negative light, you know, and that's how they see you, but they see that you're doing better and you've developed. But they ain't done anything for themselves to grow and develop. I can see where those kind of comments would come in as well. So, you know,
negative, positive, whatever light, you know. Some people just won't let you move on from the version of you that best suits what's happening for them. And that's their bag. That's got nothing to do with you.
Hard out. Hard out. Oh my goodness. Right, hang on, let me just check. Just quickly check what time here. It's done in them all gone. Oh jeez. Jeez, where to from here? Or time do we start? 5. So, yeah. Oh yes, sorry. If we can, I don't know how much time you have left with us. Well, we probably would have technically started now if you came at the original time. But I just want to talk to you a bit about, and however much you can share, I don't know how confidential this is, but the mahi you're doing with, it's so broad because even I'm still learning this, but with the whole fan and what you're doing with kind of this big create space for, this is how I've interpreted it so far, so please correct me if I'm wrong, because at the moment you correct me I'm going to go, right, I've been on the wrong path with this the whole time, but that's good because now I can.
Here's the thing for me, your perception is actually the reality, so I need to understand where you're at, so you tell me.
Okay, sweet. So I'm seeing this, so there's I want to call it a movement. I feel like it's a movement,
cool,
more than anything. A place for not only Maori, but creative people to come into a space and to create I guess you could say a network of creatives in this particular space in which you've called FAM. And the idea of it is for people like myself and other creatives to ultimately invest in something that we can build upon in the space that has been provided for us by smart people like yourself. And how am I going so far?
Pretty good.
Okay, cool. And because I don't know too much about, I'm still learning the whole crypto and NFT system and how that all works and all that, but I'm guessing the idea is we, as the creatives, the more work we put into the content that is created within the fan, the more value it gives these NFTs that have been presented. Like I said, please correct me if or at least steer me in the right track.
So, FAM is, as you know, like one of the things that we do is we build communities, right?
Yeah.
And FAM is another community that we created to help ourselves to learn about what's happening next in technology, and to provide a safe space that was not about trying to get people to buy NFTs or getting them to get their mates to buy NFTs or anything to do really with NFTs.
Yeah.
It was a way for us to be able to learn about the technology. As I said at the beginning, a seismic shift is happening.
Yeah.
Decentralization is happening, particularly in this Web3 space.
Mm.
The computer frameworks and code frameworks and all of those frameworks that sit under applications that we use every day are changing in the next version of the web and the next version of apps. And so it's to understand that and to understand what powers that and to understand how we as a people, creatives, indigenous people, can best utilize that. And when we started FAM, the current focus of what people were looking at inside of Web3 was all about NFTs. Mm. And my observation when we started FAM was that it was toward the end of the last big bull run, they call it, right? Where everybody's optimistic about NFTs, about Web3, about crypto. Everyone's pumped. Everyone's going to make a fortune. And it didn't take us long to go and this is turning. And a lot of people are getting involved in these things that don't actually know what the underlying technology is about. And a lot of people are getting involved in projects and they don't really understand what they're getting involved with. And then a lot of people are having bad experiences inside of these projects, and that's not going to help the development of that technology in a way that we can use it best to help empower our people.
Hārea.
And so we started FAM as a safe place, as a place for like the whanau to get together and learn and to have positive experiences in that space. There's no better way to learn than, in my experience, than to do. When you do, it's applied learning and the outcomes are real, right? It's not theory or hypothesis. You do and then you have an outcome. The outcome is real. And so I really believe that as for me personally, is one of the ways that I really love to learn. And so with that in mind, when we started FAM, what we wanted to do was introduce the people that were part of our community to the best information that money could buy, to the best data, to the best insight. And that's what FAM did. FAM got access to all the best communities that had all the best data, and we shared it free of charge to our community. And people got upskilled and learnt where they had gone wrong previously and other things that they'd invested in, and learned that it was a lot riskier and it was a lot harder and that there's no such thing as overnight success. But if you really wanted to learn, here's how you learn. These are the patterns. This is what to watch. And then as part of that process, we also created our first DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization. That together a group of us inside of the community, about 86 of us, chucked in a little bit of ETH each, and we went off and we bought a whole bunch of the best NFTs in the market. And now those are sitting in a vault for us, and we wait for the market to come back, and then we'll be able to capitalize on that investment for the benefit of the community. But inside of that experience, we also got to see how the best communities run. And how they operate, and the principles that they operate on, and the way that they deliver value into those communities, all whilst, from my perspective, trying to form a point of view on how this technology could best benefit our people, our communities, our creatives. And so we had decided a long time ago that what we would do as part of that learning process is to create our own collection, our own NFT collection. The market absolutely tanked. We just put everything on go slow, and then gave ourselves time to reflect on what had happened, where the market had been, where we thought it was going, and what we thought needed to happen with the technology so that it could become more acceptable to people when the market eventually returns, when there are decent use cases for the technology apart from selling JPEGs, where people actually will be able to derive meaningful value from the underlying systems, processes, technology that this next iteration of tech provides us with. And so that's what FAM has set about to do now. We're in the midst of if you look in the Web3 market, particularly around digital collectibles, it's like the darkest time in the market in recent years. As we speak, still there are projects making tens of millions of dollars in a day, right? But overall, that space is quite economically depressed. We're New Zealand in a technical recession, the US is heading into recession, so the market couldn't be worse. From my perspective, there couldn't be a better time to start building. Because our view on where the technology will go is that the technology, like all those words that you use to describe what's going on, NFTs, blockchain, crypto, all that type of stuff, that'll just become invisible. Tell me about the coding language, the types of code, the tech stack that underpins Instagram. What is it? No clue. 99% of the population have no clue. What we do is take a photo, post it, take a video, post it, write some text, share it. We don't think about all the tech that's sitting underneath it. How does this phone work? We don't think about it. We don't think about any of the underlying technology. And that's where this new iteration of tech is going to go. It'll become invisible. We won't even worry or think about it. It will just enable new experiences where I have proof of ownership of this digital asset, that it's actually mine, because it's recorded on this thing called the blockchain. I don't know how it works, but here, I got it.
Yeah.
This is mine.
This is
like
mine.
everything is mine. This is my proof.
Yeah.
And the tech that enables us to, as different and disparate groups around the world, to collaborate and make transparent decisions inside of our communities, and for those decisions then to play a role in the overall strategy of pushing us to wherever we want to go.
Yeah.
We want to build a new community centre. We want to fund artists and their new projects.
Yeah.
We want to fund a film.
Yeah.
We've got this underlying technology that makes the ability for us to coordinate our resource, to raise the funds, to agree on the direction in a way that doesn't give anybody more power than anybody else. It's completely decentralized, to be able to organize and to be able to execute. And there's full transparency.
Yeah.
How every penny got spent, who said yes, who said no, and why. But this is the direction that it's gone as a result of our organization and our collective understanding of what the best outcome was, and then we made this decision. And those types of just real life scenarios that the tech enables is what I think it's going to be about next. So to test that hypothesis, we decided to create this FAM DAO that we're building now, and to base that and focus that DAO's energy and the community's energy around the development of a global story, a global indigenous story, a master narrative that begins here in Aotearoa and connects virtually to nearly every indigenous nation around the world. And to use that as the basis to create a portfolio of indigenous IP that we can then share in the benefits of together.
Yeah.
That's what FAM is about. What have we stuck on top of that? We stuck on top of that some young adults from Porirua that go on an adventure around the planet, fall down a long drop, go into an interdimensional portal where they find that there are 7 different kingdoms with guardians of 7 different universes. They go on a mega quest, they come back out of the wharepaku into their uncle's shed at the back of the yard, put all the amulets and artifacts that they've collected together and open the portal that makes everything from where they visited, the 14 universes and kingdoms that they've been to, fall into Earth. And we have a metaverse.
Cool. So I'll get on to finding the crew and get on to casting, and we'll start making
So here's the thing, right? No, so here's the thing. So the DAO is getting set up right now.
Yeah.
And inside of that, we have a directors group. And inside of that, we have a writers group. And inside of that, we have a production group. And inside of that, we have an animators group, a 3D modelers group, a support group, a management group, a treasury group. And those groups control every aspect of what this organization does.
Okay.
And that's how you take that tech and you use it to achieve the type of outcome that you want to achieve personally and be part of.
Yeah.
And
Because
like
that's what got me excited, just through your reel, was when you started talking about that right there and then. That was the part that I was picking up on. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, this is exciting. It's all new to me.
And so but what you get is the top level experience, right?
Yeah.
You get that so I can write episodes of this, and I can be involved in the directing and the casting, and actually be involved in it and benefit from it. Wow, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I want you to get, because I don't want you to have to think about the underlying technology on the blockchain and decentralized, organized, autonomous organization that we're building that registers every decision and project and proposal. You don't have to think about that stuff.
It's just all about being creative.
Yeah.
Marvelous, bro.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
That's how you make the tech work.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about NFTs. I could give a fuck about crypto. I don't give it, that's just buzzwords.
Yeah, it's
just buzzwords and bullshit and a way to lose your money. And the opinion of most people, right?
Shit, yeah.
But there is something that's beyond that. That if you get past that little bit of humanity that you got, that vulnerability that you had that enables people to get swindled, and you get down to, actually, I can do meaningful shit with this tech. That's the space that I exist in. And that's the space that I'm creating from to enable stuff to happen on the top with talented people like yourself and others that are a part of this project.
Wow, okay, Pat, yeah, that's me. Bro, thank you. Like now I've really taken it in a lot more now that, you know, because I spent months off the Discord, you know, and then coming back in right into the middle of these big yeah, literally, yeah, woo! That's how it was for me. So I'm like, fuck, where do I start? But oh, bro, that's a Mickey explanation. I'm actually really excited. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I'm a part of that.
Yeah.
I need to sort out this wallet stuff and all that kind of stuff too.
And that's what I talk about, like the experience, the whole experience has to get better.
Yeah.
Like I even had apprehension this morning when I was like transferring money from our e-commerce system, which has a transferring crypto from e-commerce system, which has a Coinbase Commerce Connect function, and I connected that to the wallet and sent what was in the Coinbase Commerce over to the project wallet, and then it didn't show up. And I was like, fuck, what wallet did I put in? Like, where is it?
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Oh no, what have I done? Where have I sent it?
Yeah.
And it was just a processing thing because it had to go through the blockchain and it takes a minute. But I've been in this for years, bro.
Yeah.
And I still have that apprehension.
Yeah.
Those moments when I'm like, I just transferred a lot of money. Where did it go?
Yeah.
Is it lost? Because when it shit gets lost in the blockchain, it gets lost.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, shit, I don't know. And so I have it. So like, I understand why people that are not as into the space and as comfortable with new technology and experiences as I am would be absolutely freaking out about this idea of a wallet.
Yeah.
That you got this address from, and you gotta buy crypto, and exchange your cash for crypto, and you put your card details in here, and this is secure, and I hear this is where
this is the Silk Road trades.
Yeah, some Silk Road shit going on in here, like, what's going, like, you know?
Yeah.
And so we gotta remove that.
Yeah.
And so that's like, if you think about what I described as, you know, the organization that you're gonna be a part of, the project you're gonna be a part of, it's just like, you are completely able to provide context of a process you really understand. Okay, let's cast, let's direct, let's write, right? And so you didn't even give a shit about the shit that's happening underneath. And that whole wallet experience, that's one thing that needs to change as well.
And because it's all I'm going into the storyline stuff because this is where I'm relating to it, but so it's a multiverse storyline, right? Like these 7 characters can have, like, you know how you're saying, like, we write direct the script and all that. We can essentially contribute another storyline to that.
It's just I think the thing with what we're doing is
because it's a multiverse, right?
Yeah, multiverse. So there's 7 universes to completely flesh out the story of the planetary system, the civilizations within it. You know, the worlds, the countries, the cities, the neighborhoods, the households, the people, the whanau and their friends. Because that's what it's about. That's why we're called fam, like friends and fam.
Yeah.
It's because our story is going to go from a group of kids in just like an everyday neighborhood that we can all relate to. And it's going to go out.
This crazy adventure.
Out into the multiverse.
Yeah.
What they discover is that, like, holy shit, that like it's just the same as us.
Yeah.
Once you like, they look weird, but like they got their own friends, and like that's that level of connection and understanding that we're trying to foster, because like our macro story, like the master narrative for fam, is actually is based on the oldest story that there is. Like it's one of the oldest stories ever. The story that's based around the Pleiades, around Mao in Chinese culture, Kritika in Hindu culture, like the first documented account of the story that we're telling, which in New Zealand is the story of Matariki. The first documented account of that is 2535 BC. BC. In the Chinese text. It's the first record of the Pleiades star cluster.
Yeah.
But you can go around the world into nearly every indigenous nation, and they all share this story of Matariki, their own version of.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, bro. It's old.
Yeah.
It's older than mankind as we freaking know it.
Yeah.
Really. And it's an indigenous story.
Mm.
And through that master narrative, it gives us the ability to connect to every other indigenous culture and group around the world. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell the story of these kids connecting to different cultural versions of the same story in this world and in other universes as well.
Wow. I'm really excited about it. Are you going to be at the studio tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing what you guys have done with everything there. That'd be cool. I haven't been in for a while, that's why too.
We've got the big, like we've...
life has been happening, so...
We've modified the whole studio, because the studio space is about, I'm going to say, all up, maybe like 500 to 600 square meters actual studio space.
Yeah.
And at least 100 square meters.
So which one's the studio space?
The big one.
Oh yeah.
And we've got 100 square meters of like green screen studio going in. It's massive. 5 meters high.
Oh my goodness.
And with the emergence of all this new AI technology that's happening in post-production, like rotoscoping and compositing, all of that, bro, it's out the window.
It's out the window now.
And so we're in a position now that we can literally turn around like 5 to 6 minute animated shorts in a week. We can like serialize the production of animation using real life actors and turn that into 3D animated episodic content on a week to week basis.
Wow.
That's what I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
Is that we get to think about the stories, go away, create the stories, release the stories to the world. All the time, all the while that we're doing that, we're building our IP as well. And so like we're gaining more exposure. We're gonna live and breathe TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And like every one of our characters will have their own backstory that we'll release. They'll produce a whole bunch of funny content. Like I guarantee you, bro, before the end of this year, people are going, those fan characters are everywhere. Yeah. They're on the news. They're dominating on TikTok. Like they're
presenting the news.
It's going to be like that.
I can't wait.
And because we're just in the unique position to be able to produce content at a cadence that has a high level of creative output, storytelling quality that hasn't been seen in the Web3 space before. Yeah. Like each one of our characters will have their own social media profile. Each one of our characters will be able to go live. Our 3D characters, bro. They will be able to go live. They'll be able to do their own Twitter spaces, like each one of the 7.
Yeah, just from a few prompts and then...
No prompts.
No prompts.
No prompts, bro. I can't give away all the secrets about it.
Okay.
It's not prompts. It's like real life interaction. Like you and me are talking now.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be able to bring that character here and you'll be able to interview them if we wanted to. Like that's how it will go, bro.
Reminds me of old Squirt. Was that the one? The old TV show?
I don't know.
The little animated penguin. It was, I think, it was like a guinea pig. Oh, what do you not? Yeah, I guess an experimental show. So I think it was. Do you remember Dominic Belden, the presenter?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's how he got his kind of claim to.
Oh yeah, but like he was talking to like something.
He was talking to a tennis ball.
He's like talking to a tennis ball. Yeah. No, you're going to be talking to a person.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be... I would love
that's
to.
what we can do now.
Right.
That's what
I would love to. Just, let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Right here on the FTG podcast, I'm going to be interviewing a character, literally.
You're going to be interviewing Billy Baker.
Right. Let's do it. I'm really excited.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well.
So that's what it's about, bro. And so that's what we're building right now. And the ability to be able to be part of that community through our fan pass.
Yeah.
Would you cop one of those as well? So that's cool.
Yeah.
And like it's really great. There's only ever going to be 999 of them. It's not like we're trying to do a 10,000 thing like everybody else is doing. Like we are doing it specifically for our community.
Yeah.
Through that community, we'll connect to other communities around the world.
Yeah.
But like,
Are there many other communities on the same kaupapa around the world?
not like I don't
Not
think
like
we are.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean somebody will eventually pick it up and do something similar, but
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Bro, that's awesome. Far out. I'm really excited, Pat. I'm really bloody excited. And thank you for, also, I just want to say, because I'm thinking we're probably going to have to close this up now.
Yeah, of course.
But, I just want to thank you so much.
Do Twitter space after this.
Hey, what's that?
Like, we're gonna do Twitter space after this.
Yeah, hard up. And don't forget your gift card there.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Chicken.
Or a piece of ham and one bread. Yeah, inflation. But yeah, I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on. This is a new venture for me.
It's cool, bro.
Thank you so much.
The Timu set is real.
Yeah. It's not too bad. Yeah. Thank you, Timu. That's the store owners, I think, over there. But I was looking at that design of something else. But yeah. No, but other than that, Pat, thank you so much for coming on, brother. Me. All right, stay awesome, guys. Peace out.